God. Oh, God. Oh, Charlotte. Oh, God. Oh, God. Okay. Charlotte!
Welcome to Let's Play. I'm Charlotte.
I'm Shalea.
And today we're going to be making several different varieties of ice cream.
So in celebration of the upcoming Kingdom Hearts Steam release, we're going to be making sea salt ice cream, but our twist is we're going to give you 3 different ways to make our favorite Twilight Town treat.
All right, so what is our first recipe that we are doing?
So our first recipe is going to be the most classic of classic ice cream bases. We're going to be pulling this from Salt and Straw by Tyler Malik and JJ Good. And it's going to be just a very basic cream recipe, cream and milk with sugar, and sea salt, of course. So our first step here is going to be mixing together all of our dry ingredients. So that's going to be our sugar, our dry milk powder, and our xanthan gum into a mixing bowl, which I am going to grab right now. So we have our pre-measured containers here. Charlotte, do you want to do the honors?
All right, so here is first our sugar.
All right, so while she's doing that, my disclaimer here is that I think the first Kingdom Hearts came out when I was in, I want to say, middle school. Feel like I'm aging myself. And then I didn't revisit it until very recently. From what I understand, you're like a massive Kingdom Hearts fan.
I mean, I feel like that is a scary thing to say because I know that there are people out there who are like much more versed in the lore than I am, but I have played
Keyblade. It's right over there.
I mean, doesn't everyone, like, who hasn't been to a con and been like, this is when I get a Keyblade? It's a normal thing. Part of growing up.
Now what we're gonna do is just quickly mix together our dry ingredients and get them incorporated together.
So you've only played like the base numbered games, right?
Oh, Charlotte, I've had a weekend. I tried to cram as much Kingdom Hearts into the last 48 hours of my life as possible. Like, I'm coming to you unhinged. 2 days ago, I did a walkthrough and tried to do as much of a speedrun as I could of parts or a good part of Chain of Memories.
That's interesting because I feel like if any of them, one, you could maybe not play, and 2, many people have not played and still are giant Kingdom Hearts fans.
That's what
everyone
on the internet said. That's what everyone on the internet said. They were like, why are you doing this? And I'm sitting in my bed at 2 a.m. going, I don't know.
I think the best, side game, of course, is Birth by Sleep.
Okay.
And then I am a big fan of Dream Drop Distance. I know a lot of people don't love that one. I love the worlds in it. I love that they're kind of like weirder worlds, like Three Musketeers, Fantasia, that sort of stuff.
Ooh, that's fine.
And also, it was the first game where I actually started to like Riku as a character. Like, everything before just kind of annoyed me with him.
You weren't, like, into, like, his, like, little sad emo boy storyline? Yeah, no, not for you. So now what we can do is put our sauce pot on the stove.
Here's a conveniently placed sauce pot that was in my hand.
Look at you go. All right, and so from here, what we're gonna do is get our corn syrup and our whole milk, no heat yet, into our sauce pot.
It's very viscous. So did you complete, like, your unhinged binge to the extent you wanted to?
Yes and no.
I know you texted me at, like, midnight last night.
Yeah, I text Charlotte because I have a theory that Kingdom Hearts 3 is actually that island from Lost. Like, argue with the wall. The amount of playing, I am impressed by the amount of, like, playing and walkthroughs I watched this weekend, yet I don't understand it any more than I did.
It is always wild to go back to the first Kingdom Hearts because I'm like, oh, this is actually, like, a very nice, like, self-contained JRPG story.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of ballooned from there.
Now that we have blended together or mixed together our corn syrup and our whole milk, now we're going to turn our heat source on to medium and let that heat up a little bit, and then we're gonna slowly incorporate our dry ingredients into there. So you mentioned, like, one of your favorite things about the games is obviously, like, the immense amount of world building. I would have loved to have been in the room when someone was, like, pitching these storylines and was like, it's Forrest Gump, but for kids. especially with like KH3. Like
I know that the whole thing of the original Kingdom Hearts is, I believe it was like they met in an elevator and were like, hey, we really want to do this idea, and it came about from that.
God, I love an elevator pitch.
My theory for everything going forward after Kingdom Hearts 1 is Tetsuya Nomura just does whatever he wants and no one can stop him.
Okay, but what I wanted to ask you was, what are some of your favorite worlds from the series?
I feel like that's kind of a tiered answer, because back when I was first playing it, in middle school, it was, all about like Halloween Town and
That's
whatnot.
Fair. That's fair.
Going forward, I actually really enjoy kind of the original worlds.
Mm-hmm.
Like, especially the end of the first game, like there's something kind of like melancholy when you're in Hollow Bastion, and I just like the energy there.
I was always super excited about like getting to go to like the Hercules like Thebes world, because I am who I am. I've been obsessed with like Greek literature since I was like a kid, so I like really loved that storyline in the first game, and then like also like getting to like experience the Titans.
This explains the Hades.
Sure. Yeah, I truly have always been the same person. But that was one of my favorites. I'm trying to think like...
I can tell you worlds that I don't like.
Oh yeah, go ahead, please.
Especially in the first game, Monstro. Do not send me to that maze. I hate it there. Really going forward, any of the like live action ones.
So strange.
Do not show me 3D Jeff Bridges. Do not show me Jeff Bridges interacting with Sora and Riku.
I really hated that. Okay, I'm glad, because I feel like this is like a thing. I've been like experiencing this in a bubble, and I haven't like gotten to like be let outside and talk to people about it. Yeah, I was deeply uncomfortable. Like, I thought some were like handled better, like other than others. Like, I really did enjoy like the Toy Storyification of Sora.
I mean, I feel like as long as it's, animation, you can kind of do whatever, but like live action people, no.
Man, yeah, that was rough stuff. Now that our pot is starting to heat up, I'm just gonna slowly incorporate our dry ingredients.
Are you going to be playing this Steam re-release? Remake? It's not remake, but people like to call things remakes. You can use whatever words you want. Life is meaningless.
That's a good question. So you're more of a, we had this conversation, I feel like when we talked about Stardew Valley a couple weeks ago. Like, I really love the experience of like a device in my hands. I don't know how I'm gonna feel about it, but like, you're a really big PC gamer, so I feel like this is like good for you, right? Am I right?
I mean, it's interesting because just talking about like handheld gaming, I remember back when like the Vita was being released and whatnot, and there were rumors of, re-releasing Kingdom Hearts on the Vita. That was always like the coolest thing in my mind. I'm like, oh my god, this whole big RPG that I can play on the go? Amazing! But yeah, now I'm kind of more of a let's sit down and relax type person. Will I be playing it on release? I can't say for sure. I feel like I do replay Kingdom Hearts semi-regularly.
Oh, yeah?
And by semi-regularly, I mean like every couple years, etc. And it has been a hot minute since I did so in anticipation of Kingdom Hearts 3 coming out. But also, I don't know if I'm quite there yet in wanting to go on that journey.
Okay.
Are there any worlds that, with the franchise going forward, you would like to see incorporated into the games?
Good question.
Thank you, it came to me from God.
Where I can go anywhere with IP? Like, I can go like straight Disney, I can go Pixar, I can go anywhere I want.
Well, Disney owns everything, so you can
That's
go anywhere
true.
you want.
I can go Nat Geo if I want to. Is Encanto fun?
Oh yeah, that would be fun.
I think Encanto would be really, really fun, because then it's like, I feel like there's already that element of like, not quite a multiverse, but it's like you have like the worlds within worlds that sort of like exist within the game, and I think you could do something really interesting there. And then it's like, if you're connecting all of it, right? Like, okay, so like thematically, like doors are a big deal there.
I mean, doors are a big part of Kingdom Hearts lore.
That's true. Yeah, that's the whole, again, there's doors and you're locking them and unlocking them. Great. Glad we had this talk. Excellent.
Yeah,
That's my answer.
I feel like out of modern franchises, I also feel like Moana would be cool.
Oh,
Given
that would be fun.
It's already kind of, like an island setting.
Yeah. How would you see that incorporating?
It's like one of those moments where I'm like, oh, it'd be cool to like go around to, different places in the world, but it's also like, I didn't really enjoy island hopping in Pirates of the Caribbean world.
Me either. And then they were crabs? Everyone was crabs? I'm gonna say it again. Crabs?
Crabs?
There's so much in my brain right now.
As always, all you need to know is that everyone is Xehanort and everyone who's not Xehanort is Sora. Done.
That is what Charlotte told me at like 11 p.m. last night. Wait, but then everyone who's not either of them are Riku.
There are a couple Rikus running around, it's fine.
And then like, okay, what I wonder with him, because it's like, at some point his clones start cloning themselves. And that seems like a dangerous business. Like we've seen that in other films. I don't think you're supposed to do that.
I think there's a lot of things in Kingdom Hearts you're not supposed to do.
All right, so I think we've got a good mixture here. It's starting to thicken a little bit because of the sugars, and everything feels super smooth and incorporated.
Am I whisking as the cream goes in?
You can whisk however your heart desires.
I don't know about that.
As you whisk, I'm just gonna get some cream in here, and I'm slowly going to incorporate. All right, let me give you a second to get that incorporated.
Why do we put the cream in off the burner?
Because that's just ice cream.
Keep whisking and stop asking questions.
No more questions, just whisking. I was gonna ask you what is your favorite minigame, because I sure have an answer to this.
Tell me your answer while I think on this.
Can you guess? I think you can guess. I'll give you 2 guesses.
Skateboarding?
No. What?
Hitting bees with a stick.
It's just something I do in my spare time. No, I'm into bees. No, the Ratatouille minigame. It's like Cooking Mama. I love it.
Yeah, that tracks. If I remembered it, I would have guessed it. Is it a mini game if I say every time I play the games, I'm like, I'm going to go around and do all the stuff to get the ingredients to make the like Ultima Keyblade. And every time I get like 3/4 of the way done, I'm like, that's stupid.
At this point, what we're going to do is add our sea salt. And then it's sea salt ice cream. It's right down here.
In the void.
You guys don't know about that. What do you know about that? And let's make it heaping teaspoon here of sea salt.
Again, not really a mini game, but I did enjoy, especially when it was on the 3DS, the, like interacting with the dream eaters you get, because they're like little pets and whatnot.
That is fun.
Nintendogs, but different.
So now we're gonna do our food coloring.
And I know the thing with food coloring is always start small.
All right.
So I'm gonna do that much, and we'll see what it becomes.
All right. It's extremely pigmented. Oh, that's kind of pretty. I'm gonna show you. Yeah. That's pretty. Look, an ice cream drum has appeared.
An object.
We're gonna mix our sea salt mixture into the drum. Look at that. And then we're gonna put this guy on. And then essentially this is just gonna turn on for 20 minutes. So let's get to mixing. So after that regularly scheduled break, we're gonna come back and take our churned ice cream out of the drum and pour it into our popsicle molds and let it hard pack and freeze into hard ice cream.
Which we are going to do off camera because there's no way that this doesn't make a mess.
Sure.
So we'll be right back.
Things have happened since you've been gone.
This is why we didn't let you see it.
All right, so now we have some amount of ice cream and some amount of popsicle holders. So essentially like
8
That's the-
popsicles have been poured.
that's the number.
And while they are freezing completely solid, we're going to move on to our next recipe.
Okay, so we're back. I have a different shirt because I spilled ice cream all over my first shirt. We are moving on to ice cream number 2. And so this is going to be a sort of like custard-based ice cream or sea salt ice cream. So it'll have the same base. Yes, that is the base of our custard. But it's going to, there's a little bit more cream, and essentially it's going to have like a thicker, more like gelato-like consistency, or so I'm told. We'll see what happens. And this one is coming from Hello, My Name is Ice Cream, The Art and Science of the Scoop by Dana Cree.
And that's why, in order to make this, we have disregarded all science.
I don't think we were big on science to start with.
But the very first step is have an ice bath. So we've got ice.
So we're gonna get our sauce pot back up here. We're gonna turn this back on medium. And now we're gonna put essentially all of our wet ingredients into the sauce pot and start that process of boiling. So we're gonna go about 1.5 cups of cream here.
So yeah, we've talked a lot about like the overarching games, but when it comes to characters, do you have a clear favorite, or do you have like a favorite trio?
That's a good question. I think...
I hate that you asked it.
I don't know. There's something I enjoy about Riku's story. I get that he's like little whiny emo boy.
I mean, I'm not gonna hate someone for saying that they like him. It just took a while for him to click for me as a character.
I mean, so much of the story is that sort of like battle between good and evil and light and darkness, and like something about him like being a super flawed character. Not that I don't like Sora, but it's like, I mean, from the beginning, it was like he's this strong-willed, like, moral compass, whereas like seeing someone have to sort of like fight against that.
Yeah, I feel
darkness.
like for the first game, especially, probably where I struggle with Riku the most is that, like, he doesn't really feel like he's your friend.
He's not.
He's, like, very much just an antagonist, and it's like, and maybe I'm bitter because he always beats me in the race. Maybe I'm bitter.
America's Next Top Model. He's not here to make friends. He tells you that very early on. So this is going to be a little more milk than with our standard ice cream base.
Why?
Because. Just because. Actually, if I had to guess, I think it's because it has a higher fat content. What do we have now?
Glucose?
Sure. I was only asking you because I couldn't remember. I didn't have the answer. You could have told me anything. And so we've got 1/4 cup here, which, if you notice, is a lot more than our previous base.
Close watchers will notice.
You ice cream aficionados out there.
I'm sure they've stopped watching long ago. They're just like yelling at their screen. I feel like I'm a big fan of, most of the trios who aren't the main three.
Same.
Like, obviously, I like all of the main three. Like, I wouldn't be playing a game and be like, I hate all of these original characters. But I guess the other ones...
Sugar?
I would also say, like, because they came about when the series was, like, oh, we're not just, like, a fun one-off Disney RPG. They kind of had a bit more, like, story going for them when they were first introduced. I am not, like, the biggest fan of Terra.
I have so many thoughts about Terra.
He frustrates me, but I feel like I enjoy that he frustrates me in a weird way because he's so dumb. If there is a choice to make, he will always pick the worst possible choice.
Do you remember earlier when I said Kingdom Hearts is the Lost Island? That's like all I could think of playing 3, because even those like flashbacks in 3, and I understand like the metaphor of it's like, like the chessboard where it's like this or not chess. Yeah, chess. That's a game. The chessboard where it's like, this like physical manifestation of like this battle of like light and darkness. And like all I could see was like Jacob and the Man in Black, like in Lost. Like, am I crazy?
I've never seen Lost.
Oh, God. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Somebody knows what I'm talking about. This isn't a show about Lost. I'm just saying, like,
It could be.
I truly was, like, losing my mind this weekend being like, they can't get off the island. It's the island. Like, we have to go back, Sora. That's what oh my God, that's what it is. Jesus. If I had to pick a favorite trio, I think it would probably be, and I feel like I'm gonna get yelled at this and about this, and it's like I don't think I know enough, but like I enjoyed like the like Roxas, Axel, and I'm gonna do it wrong again. Xion trio.
So I've been like on the outskirts of Kingdom Hearts fandom for a very long time. I used to do like the whole AMV culture way back in the day. And I always loved how people were kind of like, oh yeah, trio, but we don't really know where to put Naminé in that.
Sure, that's a good point. What about Naminé? All right, so we're just gonna let this boil.
It certainly smells like hot milk. Mm-hmm. I don't want to be basic with like saying favorite boss fights, but it's like in Kingdom Hearts 2 when you fight the Thousand Heartless. Mm-hmm. Like that's so much fun.
It made me anxious.
Why?
I don't know. We've talked about this. I'm like more of a simulator like lady. Like I will turn any game I can into a life sim. Like I play Grand Theft Auto and like won't go on missions. I know this isn't a Grand Theft Auto video, but I'll just like go get my hair cut and like go to the gym and then like go back home. Like that's like my favorite way to play that game. Cause like sometimes I really, like the way my anxiety is set up, sometimes I just can't. So like that was like very stressful for me. We're starting to get like a little bubbling, but we need like a full on boil and then it'll be ready to come off the heat. And then we're ready to temper our egg yolks. Yeah, our friend and fellow gamer, B. Dylan Hollis, taught me how to separate egg yolks very easily. It's just my hand. You don't need the little suction cup thing. Just these guys right here.
I always just do the back and forth in the eggshell.
That's what I used to do, but I feel like sometimes I'll break yolks that way. But then the one time that we had Sir B. Dylan Hollis here, and he just did it like and strained it through his hands, and I've done it that way ever since, and it's so simple. I haven't broken an egg yolk since he came to the studio. Where would you suggest I go next if I want to be less confused?
I mean, like coming off Kingdom Hearts 3?
Yeah.
I would say like Birth by Sleep is definitely because that's kind of like the start of the Xehanort saga. Like that's when you actually see Xehanort doing Xehanort stuff and like setting into motion all the stuff that basically unfolds over the next like 12 years.
Okay, that's helpful.
I still really like the combat in that one.
Okay.
I enjoy playing as like Ven, Terra, and Aqua in a game because they actually do have like very noticeably different styles.
Okay, I was very curious because it's like, for instance, like I've known that like you're an Aqua lady for some time now. My understanding of her is so minimal. She drowned and then she didn't. That's what I know. So we're gonna take this pan off of the heat, move it over here, and then we're gonna get ready to temper our egg yolks and then add the dairy mixture in. So Charlotte, I'm gonna ask you to add our egg yolks into
I don't
our
know
bowl.
what tempering egg yolks means, so.
You're gonna learn today. And so then what we're gonna do is take a half a cup of our hot dairy mixture. So I'm gonna measure.
Who loves a hot dairy mixture?
There's nothing better. All right, Pyrex, you're really gonna like earn your keep today because this is very warm.
Boiling, some would say.
So we're gonna take our half a cup of hot dairy, yum, and we're gonna slowly, as we're whisking, pour it into the egg yolks. And the purpose of that is to make sure they're not scrambling. It's just slowly incorporating.
The more you repeat it, the more I feel like you're gonna look down and see scrambling. Okay, what do we do with this?
All right, so similarly, we're gonna pour this back on here and I'm gonna turn the heat up, not quite as high, but like a low medium. And then we're gonna put this back in here, making sure we're stirring all the while because again, like the biggest thing here is making sure none of our mixtures are curdling. Do you wanna whisk? So now that this is whisked, essentially we're ready for our ice bath. And there it is. So what we're gonna do, this isn't big enough, you don't think? I'm gonna regret this choice. What do I do? There you go. Don't try this at home, folks. Well, now you're just holding on. Charlotte! Oh God, video over. She's done something, folks. I don't know if it's good. So we are going to take our custard at this point off and put it in the ice bath. Pray that I can pour this successfully.
We've certainly accomplished something.
We've built a device. Okay, so we're gonna let this chill in this ice bath. We are back after some amount of time. You know what they don't tell you about ice cream? It takes time.
I think they specifically say that in all of the recipes.
Well, so we have chilled our egg custard. And so now we're going to, you guessed it, add back in, again, that teaspoon of sea salt and food coloring. I have interesting thoughts about what the food coloring is gonna do on this one.
Are you thinking green?
Mm-hmm. Okay. It's teal. Okay.
They're still mixing to go.
So off camera, we were talking a little bit about, I know we talked about like how ambitious this series is. It truly escapes me how this even like came to pass with just the amount of IP that's involved. And we were talking a little bit about like the Final Fantasy of it all. It seems like, to my knowledge, and you would know better, do we lose that after Kingdom Hearts 2? Question mark? Do you know anything about that?
Yeah, I feel like I might remember something that, like, legally it gets a lot harder when you have to have, like, Final Fantasy and Disney parties agree, like, these characters can, you know, interact. Maybe I'm making that up.
Wait, what do you mean? Like, you can't, like, retcon? Are you talking about, like, not being able to retcon things, or, like, what?
I mean, I think Disney is just, like, very, very protective of what characters they allow their IPs to interact with. And to Disney, like, Kingdom Hearts original characters are Disney characters, but, like, Final Fantasy isn't.
That's really smart. I hadn't put that together. Other than Cloud, he gets to go wherever he wants. So the custard is going in here, and you guessed it. I'm just gonna do another quick turn around, and then we're gonna get to churning again.
Place the guillotine.
Will do.
Do we have an explanation for why it's on this red piece of plexiglass?
Once again, things have occurred, and I don't really have an explanation one way or the other. What's important is the custard has made its way into the popsicle trays. So these will also get stuck in the freezer. We're just gonna use this plexiglass to make sure as, just because really.
You know, every kitchen has its colored slice of plexiglass lying around.
So stay tuned.
We are on to our third and last recipe that we're going to be trying, which is our vegan ice cream. And I think at this point, we are in agreement that, like the Kingdom Hearts games, this should have stopped a long time ago.
We are taking this simple vegan ice cream recipe, or Nice Cream recipe, from Nice Cream. 80 recipes for healthy homemade vegan ice creams by Virpi Mikkonen and Tulia Talvio.
Thank you, authors, that this truly is a very, very simple recipe.
Let us go home. We have to go home. This one's obviously, because it's vegan, is going to be wildly different. We're not going to be using our creams and milks as we did with the other two. The sort of like creamy consistency is going to be derived from coconut milk and from some soaked cashews, which are over there. So let's get our blender and let's get to blending.
All right. Also, they don't need to see me do this.
Let them watch.
I'm bad at this.
Let them watch.
I'm not a crow. I'm not designed to use tools.
Are they? Do they like tools?
Mm-hmm.
I like an implement. Our blender's here. This actually just came in the mail last night. I'm very excited.
What happened to the old blender, Shalea?
You know what happened, Charlotte. It caught on fire.
All right, let's put some coconut milk in there.
Do anything for the content.
She did not light the blender on fire for the content.
It wasn't unrelated. So we're gonna take our full can of coconut milk. It's gonna go into the blender. I've made this. It's like I've never used a can before.
See? Tools. No.
You left the top on.
I go around, the top's there. I'm just a victim.
Can you pass me the cashews? All right, so I know that food obviously is not a big component in Kingdom Hearts. Like, I know there are games that, you know, I don't know, like whether it be like Legend of Zelda or whatever, where food is maybe more of a part of the gameplay. But I do think like the couple of incidents in which we do see food here, which would either be, you know, the sea salt ice cream or the Paopu fruit, like, I do think they're really significant and they have like a lot of greater meaning during the game. I don't know, do you have any thoughts about how food is used like in the story of the game? Because I think it's really cool.
I mean, obviously, I feel like it's one of those things where if you're going to do something, it's better to do a few things that are iconic versus like, oh, we have a whole menu of things. Should we blend this?
Let's blend it. Let's hope it doesn't catch on fire. No, not that. Not that. Jesus. Maple syrup, and then we've got vanilla extract. So if you've been paying attention, if you're still here, This will be the only recipe thus far that has had any vanilla in it. The rest have just been like a really plain ice cream, which I think is interesting because I think people often tend to associate like vanilla ice cream as plain ice cream, but technically it is a flavored ice cream. So, I mean, this is it. This one's super simple. So again, we're just going to make sure we add our sea salt and our teal. I almost said flavoring, that's not right. That's not a flavor.
You know, your favorite flavor, teal.
We're just gonna close this, let the blade aerate, and churn for about 25 minutes. All right, so we are back, and as you can see, it is an entirely different day. So we let our 3 versions of sea salt ice cream freeze overnight. As you see, one of them is in a bowl. We'll get to that. And we also have the lovely Natasha with us today, who's gonna be taste testing.
We wanted to get an expert in also vegan flavors, and Natasha was previously vegan.
Absolutely. I consider myself an expert at this point.
Okay, we're gonna start with the custard.
Amazing. Okay.
Do the honors.
Oh gosh. It's a gorgeous color.
Everyone hates the color.
Really? It's okay. Very good.
Oh yeah?
Wait, that's actually really delicious. Have you tried this one?
No.
Oh my god.
All right, well I guess I'm gonna have to.
This is really good. It's very rich.
Yeah.
It's like really, really rich. Right?
That's so good.
Am I crazy? Like
No,
that's really, really
so
good.
good.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Custard is definitely a winner.
Okay, big fan.
Oh wow.
Delicious.
Our second one is just the regular ice cream base, no custard, no eggs. And as you can see, it didn't fully freeze overnight.
Sure didn't.
So we put it in our lovely little heart. We're very on theme here. So let's give it a try.
Okay. I like it. I don't like it as much as I liked this one.
Okay.
I don't know why.
It's definitely got a less creamy flavor.
Yeah, yeah. It's a little bit more just like icy. Right?
It crystallized a little more than the last one, but I still think the flavor is pretty good. Still pretty solid though.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not mad about these.
Yeah.
They're really good.
No, I think we're 2 for 2.
All right, shall we try Bachelorette number 3?
Yes.
The vegan ice cream.
Oh my god, I'm really excited about this one. Very much a popsicle.
And this one did keep its shape very nicely.
Yeah, this one's gorgeous. I know this might be weird, but I like the texture more than I thought I was going to. Just, it is super, super nutty.
It is the most refreshing.
I was gonna say, yeah.
It really is, yeah, actually.
It ain't bad.
Yeah, I feel like it might just need a little like experimentation of like proper sugar to salt ratio.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah, we're gonna leave that there.
Oh god.
All right, everyone say goodbye to Natasha.
Oh.
So that was ice cream from 3 of these lovely cookbooks. Be sure if you want to try these recipes yourself to check them out. It's Hello, my name is Ice Cream, Nice Cream, and Salt and Straw. And we are happy that now we get to eat ice cream.
We promised you 3 ice creams. We didn't say they were gonna be good, but I hope you enjoyed. And if there are any recipes that you want us to attempt for next time, let us know.